Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana. I am an intuitive reader and healer, yoga instructor. And today I am here. This is my new regular time to come live and talk about tarot decks and things like that, all things metaphysical. And today, actually yesterday, I was messing around with a few different decks. And recently, when I was at the shop where I do readings a couple times a week, I picked up this tarot deck, the Field Tarot. I was very intrigued by the box. It's called the Field Tarot by Hannah Elizabeth Fofana. And I had not seen this on people's channels. And so I quickly went to my laptop and had a look at the illustration, the pictures, the artwork, the graphic design. And I thought, wow, this is kind of cool. And it reminds me of something. So I pulled out a few different decks and I was quite intrigued. And so today I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts on the similarities and differences with three different decks. But I want to say hi and welcome to those of you that are here in the chat. Elena, hello, you were first here, so thank you for your patience. I know I came on a few minutes late. And Karen, welcome. Loracle Tarot, hello, welcome to you too. And hi, Nancy, Paper Moon Tarot. Elena is finishing the WTF Tarot, and it is such a fun book. For those of you that haven't read Bakara Wintner's book. So Bakara is the creator of the Way Home Tarot. And I just want to show you here. These are, I don't have the box on the table, but these are the backs. And this is the front of the deck. This is the Four of Pentacles. This is not the deck I'm sharing with you today. But this is an amazing book. This is the Universe card, the World card from the Way Home Tarot. And the book that Alina is talking about there is WTF is Tarot. And it's written by somebody who was fairly new to tarot at the time that she wrote the book. And it is funny. It's funny as hell. And it's such a good read, especially I loved the court card section of that book. I think that was the highlight. And I like the fact that she is so matter of fact about the way that she describes her experience with tarot. She makes it super, super approachable. So if you haven't read it, it's a lovely book. I was lucky to get the one that was bound with, the kind of binding where you can have the book sit open like this. Anyway, pick up the book if you don't have it. It's a really good read. So thanks for sharing that, Alina. That wasn't part of my pitch for today. So let us go to, you like her deck as well too. That's good to know. That's good to know. So what we're going to do today is look at this Field Tarot. And the guidebook isn't really anything special. It has very generic meanings, doesn't really talk to the artwork. It's got a pretty cover. There's no, actually well, maybe afterwards I'll show you the three guidebooks and I can compare them as well too, because that's always interesting for people to know that as well too. All of them, they come in different style of boxes. So the Field Tarot comes in a two-part box. It's by US Games, and you just lift the box off. The Star Seeker Tarot, which I have done a whole video on. It was one of my favorite decks for 2020, is an indie deck. So this one is an indie deck created by the Van Mystic. Her name is Nikki Ferrata. And the links are for the decks below. This is in a clamshell box. And it is a rose petal finish deck. The other two are not. So the interesting thing about comparing these three decks is we've got two mass market decks and one indie deck. The oldest deck that we're looking at today is the Fountain. This was created by a group of people, I believe. It's also in a lovely clamshell box. It has silver gilding on the side. I'm pretty sure there were several creators as part of this project. I don't remember. It's so long ago since I read the guidebook. But this is such a worthwhile comparison of the decks. Fountain is by Roost Publishing. It's not one of the common publishers, but we'll look at the books after. So let's go to the cards. And I just thought this would be fun to look at these 3 decks and just chat about the pictures and the artwork, similarities, differences, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Glasses on. Glasses on. Okay, so this is the newest deck in my collection. This is a US Games deck. It came out in 2020. Okay, so mass market deck, no gilding. This is the Fountain Tarot. So this one has been around for a while. I believe it came out, as an indie, and then came out with the Roost Publishing. I do not have the original version. And this one, just so you know, isn't that it? So my book is, this looks like it was signed. Okay. I don't know the history of the Fountain Tarot. So 2014 and then 2017. I'm pretty sure it came into my collection in 2017. Roost Books is an imprint of Shambhala Publications, which publishes a lot of spiritual material. Okay. And then this one also came out last year. This one came out in 2020 as well, too. What I was struck by, so this is really interesting, do you remember there was a tarot tag? I believe it was by Jen, and it was Balance the Decks. Jen Balance Tarot. Balance the Decks. This was a really, really fun tag. I did a VR to it. And when I was going through the Field Tarot, so this new one here, new to me, I thought, wow, you know, this is a very warm and feminine deck. And wouldn't it be fun to do a reading with the Fountain Tarot, which is a relatively cool deck? So warm and cool. And I just really felt there was some kind of connection. Now you're going to notice too that there's this thing about lines and geometry in both of these decks. And that might have been another reason why I just wanted to look at these side by side. And I have done it briefly, not every single card. So yeah, so we have, the pages tend to be young women, but let's go through, let's start going through. And then, so I was looking at these side by side yesterday, and then I thought, wow, there's a lot of similarities between the femininity of the Field and the Star Seeker as well too. So I thought, well, why not just pull this into the mix? And we'll just have a look at all 3 of these decks side by side, because I think there's something really interesting going on here. And some of the cards are, you know, completely different. We can't really, you know, compare night or day. But there's a few of them that are really interesting. Also in the Field Tarot, when we get to the minors, there are keywords, which can be really helpful for beginners as well too. Let's just kind of take our time with this. Interesting. So we have the Sun on the Magician and no obvious moon on the High Priestess. So that would have been really nice to have that contrast of sun and moon. I do like that we have the backs of them. It almost feels much like the, well, there's a couple of them where you step into the landscape. You step into the landscape and you are part of the deck. This one feels like Jesus to me. And here we are. So I feel a really similar vibe with the High Priestess in the Star Seeker and the Field Tarot here. There's just something. And also, if you look at the lines, keep an eye on the geometry, the sacred geometry in the background as well, too. There's not very many videos on the Field Tarot. Now, here's something that's I find a little bit odd. In the Field Tarot, there are a few animal cards. So the Empress, the Emperor, yeah, and I'm wondering, it's not described, there's no explanation for it in the little book. but it is meant to capture the feminine energy. And I love the Empress card in the Fountain Tarot. I am, or was, a huge fan of Shirley MacLaine. I guess I was in my 20s when I read all her books, and I was so inspired by her spiritual journey. So there is the Empress and then the Emperor. So we have a wildcat for the Empress, and then we have a wolf, perhaps, for the Emperor. And then I believe we do not yet. So this feels a little, I'm wondering why the Hierophant is such a traditional Hierophant when the Empress and the Emperor went to animals. It's just something I'm going to have to take my time with. So what I'm saying is, in the Field Tarot, there's some very traditional and then some non-traditional cards. And I really want to keep an eye on the lines because I'm really, really intrigued. I absolutely love the Lovers cards, and the tattoos in the Field Tarot are stunning. They're really, really stunning if you like decks with, tattoos on the bodies. And the thing about the Fountain and the Field is there's movement in the cards. There's a sensuality of movement throughout the deck. Yes, that's a really good point. Maybe because Empress and Emperor are about primal powers. Yeah. Okay. The Chariot. Very similar in all three decks. The energy here, they all have horses. And you really get that yin-yang energy here. And in the Field Tarot, we also get this line a lot. And it would be really, really interesting. And I see also in this deck here, we have this separation of above and below. What I was going to say is that, so in a reading, if we had where the lines all line up, or I'm looking at this one here as well too, and maybe in certain readings, we would have other geometry that matches in certain ways. Now, in the Field Tarot, Justice is 8, and in the Fountain Tarot, Justice is 8. And I changed the order for the Star Seeker because Justice is 11 in the Star Seeker, but I wanted to look at all of the Justice cards together. There's something about the Justice card in the Star Seeker that feels a little too, I don't know if it's soft to me. There's so much healing energy. We have all these crescent moons here. We have what looks like an amethyst down on the bottom. And I love the choices of fabric in the Field Tarot. And there's a harshness, right? There's a harshness with the line and the choice of the shape here, which is very different from the energy of this pyramid that's being built in the Fountain Tarot. Okay, and then the Hermit. We get 3 very different Hermit cards here. Try to keep an eye on the chat as well too. Okay. Very feminine energy. Interesting that the light is reflected in her hair. All of the Hermits are going in the same direction. So if that is something that you like to look at in certain cards, you like the Hermit to go into the past, if you will. I actually like that this Hermit is standing on the edge of a rock face. This one appears to be going through the snow. Okay. One of my favorite wheel cards of all time is in the Star Seeker. The next thing I'm going to do when I start to play with the Field Tarot is to pull out all the cards that have these rainbow colors. And that's one of the things that really helped me with the Wild Unknown Tarot as I was studying the Wild Unknown. And I think that'll be a really good exercise to do. I love the simplicity of this, actually. Right, so we have the darkness above with the white cat, the daylight below with the black cat. And look at this strength card. Okay, so strength is 11, and strength is 8 in the Star Seeker, if you missed that. All 3 of these decks, I believe, are Body Beautiful decks. And we have a lot more cards with no humans in the Field Tarot. So the Field Tarot is, I don't want to say it's like the Spacious Tarot, but it does give you an opportunity to be in the landscape of the cards. And if you like to work with shapes and sacred geometry, there really is a feel for that. But I don't know. I just felt like there was something going on here with the sun, sorry, with the moon and the sun. Not that, you know, and this is gorgeous. This one, the key word is, this one's called perspective for the Hanged Man. And here we have the lunar energy and the solar energy. The 3-dimensionality of the card really, really shows up. This is also a stunning. All of these Hanged Man cards are stunning. Okay. Death. This reminds me a little bit. Is that like the death card in the Way Home Tarot? I have a feeling in the Way Home Tarot there's a skull with a bunch of bright flowers coming out of it. This one is very hard to see. It's very dark. We have a skull here. We have horse. And then we have this mist. So part of it's not revealed. And then the death card in the Star Seeker. Okay. Temperance. So no angels in the field and the fountain. I almost like these 2 pictures feel, this is an example of why these 2 decks might work really, really well, as I don't use 2 tarot decks very often, but I'm kind of liking the way they sit beside each other. Oh, the Way Home has a dead deer. Okay, so what is the death card that has all the beautiful flowers coming out of the skull? I'll have to think about that. That's right, it does have a dead deer with all of the entrails coming out of it. And then we have the Devil. 15. I still haven't done my tower video for 2021. I've got to do that. Okay, so Devil. And interesting, that's my noisy daughter in the background. Look at how this is very, I hope you understand why I wanted to look at these side by side. There's something about the geometry. I don't think it's the hush that I'm thinking of. It'll come to me. I'll have it in hand. I'll be doing readings later today, and it'll dawn on me. Now, I really like these 2 cards side by side, the Devil and the Tower in the Fountain. There's something about them. So here's Tower, Tower, Tower. I don't believe there's any humans in any of these decks. I really see the Tower as a major shift of energy card. It's I'm actually really looking forward to doing my Tower video, and it's my card for 2021. And it's definitely been an interesting year in how this has been influencing my 2021 so far. The Star. You know, there's just something going on here as well too, and I would never use these two decks side by side, but I just wanted you to have a look at their you know, if you have been coveting this deck and haven't purchased it because it's an indie deck, you might really like this deck. And this, I love the softness of this Moon card. It's really beautiful. And this Moon card here, I've never liked it. It's kind of harsh to me. It's kind of scary. It's like a bit like I don't know what it is. It's a bit like a horror show, which is not how I view lunar energy at all. I really kind of like that. So this is a very, very feminine energy deck. And then look at these sun cards. I think this is what I put in the thumbnail. And so we have these very similar graphic design, you know, with the way the rays are drawn. And this is the only one that has a baby in it. The other two decks have no human. And then Judgment. Kind of clever, I thought, Judgment as a swan. It's the first time I've seen the Judgment card with a swan. Elena's still trying to solve the mystery of my question. Oh my goodness. I can just see it clear, clear, clear in my head. And it's a very white deck. And I'll make sure I get it out and share it with you. I don't think you have named it yet. And then we have, so they name these cards. So this is the universe, the world, and the world. This one for me, I love. I love that this figure in silhouette is moving out. It is not an indie deck. I can see it. It's mass market paper. I see that Nancy put up Lily White, but it's not Lily White either. So this figure is going out into the, through this portal here. And then we have all of the rainbow colors or the chakra colors here. In the Star Seeker Tarot, there is an extra card. It is called the Womb, and I've had some really beautiful, readings when that card is included. And in the Fountain Tarot, there is an extra card. It's called the Fountain. There is no extra card in the Field Tarot. Okay, so here's the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands. I was doing a deck comparison for the group that is doing the 22-week tarot course with me. And I had totally forgotten how the unity of the color is with the minor arcana in the Fountain Tarot. So in the Fountain Tarot, this is a deck where all the wands have this yellow tone. And I really like that as with a deck, especially working with beginners, so that you have this, so it's easier to recognize and feel the energy of the suits. Yeah. Now you're going to see in the field lots and lots of pip cards. So no humans in many of these cards. And this is something I've really been leaning towards. I'm just love. I feel there's something about the simplicity, and I'm tending to leaning away from overly illustrated cards. Hello, Candy. Welcome. Thank you for your wrapping. This is really, really pretty. And so the keyword, did you see the keyword? So the keyword for the 2 is planning. What was the keyword for the ace? Energy. And the keywords that I've noticed so far seem to be really, really something. So here's the 3 of Wands. And interesting that we have both an upward and a downward facing triangle in the 3 of Wands. And so that might speak to some of the 6s in a reading. Maybe it'll speak to a lover's card. I don't know. The keyword is vision. In the Fountain Tarot, this is one of my favorite cards. I really have this. I think this was one of the cards, the reasons why I bought this deck. This one, the Empress card as well too. And if you look at this particular suit really does warm up the Fountain Tarot with all the gold colors. Kind of like that they're floating above. But I also, so the thing about painting yourself into a corner, which is often the way I describe it, this becomes, very much like a lover's card. It's a card of marriage, and it's hard to get away from that. So this is one of the reasons I'm really loving working with lightly illustrated, and I feel the dynamic energy in all of these cards. I love the choice of the colors. We have the solar plexus stone at the center, which is really cool. We have heart opposite Swadhisthana. Me with my yoga stuff, I can always bring something in there. So the 5 is competition. You really get a sense of competition in this one. And this one is quite, there's a lot of strength and power in this 5 of Wands. I feel like there's a real choice in that card. And this is my Bewitched card. Love the Bewitched card. So here are your 6 of Wands. And this is kind of different, hey? This is like a superhero pose. I might pull that out and put that with the Queen of Wands. And so we can look at the 6 of Wands and the Queen of Wands side by side. When I see that card, for those of you that watched Grey's Anatomy, do you know, oh my goodness, there's this neurosurgeon. What's her name? She's Derek's sister. It's one of the things they do when they go into surgery, and they stand like this, for this pose of empowerment before they go into surgery. It just reminds me of that. Oh, I'm going to leave that card out, and we'll look at it with the Queen. 7. Always been intrigued by this one in the Fountain. The fact that there's more movement in it. And it's something I like in this deck. I like the cards are moving. This one feels a little static to me, for a 7 of Wands. And then here we have 8. And so in the 8 of Wands, I want to see and feel the energy. And here we have a flame. In the center, we have lots of amethyst or other purple crystals. I guess you could take this for whatever you want. I like that the energy is going into the center of both of these cards. And here's this one's called movement. This is an interesting question for a lot of people, you know, is the direction that the wands are going. How does that influence your reading? If the wands are moving down to the earth or the wands are moving away. And then where are we at? We're at 9. Quite like this one. I would actually like to see the superhero pose in the 9 of Wands. I feel like the 9 of Wands is the card of the superhero. And then we have the 10. Quite, you know, and I like that this little ribbon here is kind of leaning to the positive energy. I would say, you know, most of the illustrated decks paint the 10 of Wands as as a negative card. But there is, you know, there's so much that has been learned by the time we get to the 10 of Wands, and there's a power and a strength and a choice in how we manage all that we have accumulated and that abundance. And perhaps, I love that Bakar uses the word saturation of the suit. Page. I always liked her. And she is so very, very dynamic. Nancy says the wands moving down seem less active to me. Yeah, direction is a really, really important part of my readings. Direction and facings. Here are the knights. This energy is brilliant in this one. This one to me feels a little odd. It's almost as if they are lacking some confidence. And I always see the Knight of Wands as holding tremendous power. And the fact that this one is quite static, I think is weird. Okay, so here is the Queen, and I'm just going to show you. She's beautiful. Oh my God. When I saw this card, I thought, okay, I want this dress. I want this fringe. So there is your Queen of Wands, and then there's your Success card. So Success card has the hands on the waist. And she has her eyes closed. It's almost as if she has a... you know, like she's really, really tapping into the energy, the magic. Oh, you're welcome, Nancy. Enjoy your afternoon. Yeah. Okay, and then the King of Wands. This feels like Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter. And the keyword is leadership. Leadership. It's funny, hey, how you pick up on certain books or movies or scenes. Okay. I want that hair, Alina says. Yeah. In the Star Seeker Tarot, there definitely is spiritual connections. You know, you feel that vibe, and it's a deck that I tend to use with querents who are so comfortable in their spirituality. If that makes any sense to you, those of you that have it or are kind of feeling it. Now this one, so the Two of Cups. Really, really different energy in all three decks. And I forgot about this card. So this almost feels like alien connection to me. There's a real lunar energy as well too, the way that this has been, the design has been done on the bottom. And then we have this flow of energy from cup to cup in the Star Seeker. Union is the keyword in the field. Friendship is the keyword. And this is one that I wanted to This card was the inspiration for me for pulling out this deck, because I thought, wow, this looks so much like the Star Seeker. And you know what? I love the fabric. I love the fabric and the tattoos in the Field Tarot. I really, really do. I'm gonna definitely be putting this one on my rack and be using it this week. Okay, for this week and in the weeks to come. For and if you're new to reading pips, the field might be a little bit of a stretch for some, but it's very cleverly designed, and it kind of alternates between cards with humans and no humans. Look at her posture. This is not the posture of someone who is sad. She's very, very tall, like sitting tall and sitting strong. It's a really, it's kind of cool. Okay, so here we have I believe our third animal. So we have a young deer in the Six of Cups, and the keyword is innocence. I'm going to go a little bit faster here. Never liked this card. Don't know what it is. You know, and in the fountain too, we get that. So this is the Eight of Cups. I really like all of them. I think they each of them in their own way does something really quite remarkable. And I don't know if you've noticed, one of the things with this deck I didn't do was pull out all the cards with doors and portals, but that's definitely one of the features of these decks. If you like those, if you like that kind of metaphor of the portals. And then the 9. And so he's happy. And there is, I find this one a little bit odd. So again, moving to the saturation of the suit, we need to be really mindful of not only the light, but also the shadow of coming to the fulfillment of the suit. Harmony is the key word in the field. Roses. Movement. You know, you feel the movement in this 10. And so that 10, what is that 10 moving to, right? That 10 is moving back to the Ace of Cups. Page. What I think I'm going to do for Tuesday readings is I'm going to make up a spread, and I'm going to do readings on Tuesday with the fountain and the field and fountain. Sounds like a hymn, doesn't it? Christmas hymn. Queen. So it's your Queen of Cups. She's a very, very sexy in the field. Sorry, big noise. Knocked one of the boxes off. And look at the different variations of these King of Cups. I want to look in the camera. It's like they're so different. So different. The key word is control. Control. So I don't know how you sit. I'm going to put him aside and I'm going to compare him to the Swords King because that's kind of interesting. Okay, so they've got aces. Clarity is the key word for the fountain. Now look at the aces. Which aces are going up? Which aces are going down? And when you have an ace of swords, which way do you like it to go? Up or down? Is it in the earth with a determinate, powerful strike? Is it pointing up to the stars? Yeah. Okay. Clarity, decision, this is really quite a striking card in the fountain. I am so intrigued by the Three of Swords. I love it when there's something slightly different. I want to feel the energy of the deck creator and how the deck creator is interpreting. Elena likes her sword up. There's something about this swirling energy in the palm chakras. The fact that the palm chakras, the hands are connected to the heart space, and these palm chakras are getting pierced by these swords. We have this eye above. I'm talking about the Star Seeker, of course. And these tears, these raindrops, there's raindrops above and then below the eye. So it's kind of cool. I like that there's no blood dripping in any of these decks. And then the Four of Swords. There's a real sense of peace and connection. The key word here is rest. Love the wind chimes in the Star Seeker. Okay, 5. Five of Swords. Keyword is defeat. The fact that there is no humans in this card really feels good to me. Here's another one of the cards with portals in this deck. Lots and lots of doors in this deck with light and, various light coming through and beyond the portal. So what I was saying with the Six of Swords is, for me, it's easier if there's no humans in it, because the conversation always is, well, which one are you, right? Are you driving the boat? Are you being driven? Are you the child? Are you the adult? Are you the adult and the child? Are you all three of them, So this one really, really works for me. And then, okay, so we have in the Seven of Swords, deception is the fox. I don't think it was until, I know in the Bone Fire Tarot, but also in the Llewellyn, I don't think it was until I read the guidebook for the Llewellyn Tarot that I really started to understand the potential light side of the Seven of Swords, and that attitude of, okay, I need to, much like the Seven of Wands, sometimes we need to protect ourselves and we need to stand up and take what is ours and own what is ours, even if others don't want to hear that. Okay, 8 of Swords. And the key word is isolation. This one always, you know, it has that cat girl energy to it. At least that's what I see. Always loved the original Batman TV shows with Adam West. And I forget the name of the actor who played Robin. Okay, look at these. The energy is so very different. Fear is the key word, but this looks really actually kind of peaceful to me. And I know her hair is red. So red is gonna, or orange, it's gonna bring out and connect with other cards. Usually fear, red hair, I get that. We have red in the swords below here. This figure is got their knees up and their head down into their knees. I have another kind of interpretation of this card that I've been working with lately. And that this card is one of the cards that is the transition to an enlightenment experience. And sometimes what happens when we are new to spiritual experiences, we can get very close to going through that door. But what happens is we get into this level of discomfort and fear kicks in. And I don't know why that's come up a lot lately, but I've been playing with that. I'm really liking all of your comments. Thank you for joining in the feedback here. Look at the pose in this 10. So she's on her side. The swords perhaps are piercing the side, and they're piercing the left side. Oh, I'm going to have so much fun with this deck. The swords are piercing the feminine side of the body. How cool is that? And in this one, we have what looks like an angel in the background, and the swords are kind of all flying away. There is a skull here. And this one, the swords are very ethereal, and the figure is in a child's pose, a very protective, restorative kind of posture. So each of these cards, you can, if you read the tarot as a story, can work with the cards in a very unique way. Page of Swords. I haven't forgotten. I'm going to compare the King. Don't like this Knight of Swords. Prince. This one's called Prince, and it is determination. Not quite sure what he is looking at. Oh my God. The queens in this deck are so, I really like this one. This is really good. The queens in this deck are beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. Okay. So here's our King of Swords, and the key word is authority. Okay, I'm going to get that other one out. This one I find a bit weird. It kind of looks like magician costume or something. You know, this one is, I would say, is the, you know, the real spiritual aspect of the King of Swords. So we are looking at different, you know, very different qualities in the King of Swords. So there's the King of Swords. There is the King of Cups. I just find that fascinating. I'm not sure that I've ever considered the King of Cups to be, for control to be his shadow or to be his strength. All right, and the last suit of Pentacles. How beautiful is that Ace of Pentacles in the Fountain Tarot? I kind of just want to be in this beautiful, and I see like there's like a dove. There's a dove here. It's really, really pretty. And we have very wintry looking cards in the Pentacles and the Star Seeker. Wealth is the keyword. And I feel like we've kind of gone away from the sacred geometry, and I'm glad that, you know, there's a few other cards that have it. Two of Pentacles. If you like working with amethyst, there's so much amethyst in the Star Seeker. The King of Swords looks more like the Cup Sky. Yeah, I get that. Okay, Three of Pentacles. I like that the triangle is there. I really do like to bring the energy of the triangle into the threes and work with it that way. Hello, Ultramarine 2. Yes, I get that. I totally understand your comment. And there has been some chats in some of the Facebook groups this week about that as well too. You know, it is and it isn't. You know, there is a strength. There's a strength and a beauty in sexuality, whether that is in men or in women. And culturally, it just hasn't been dealt with very well, I don't think. And one of the keywords that I have been working with, so that has come through karmic past life readings with me, is the word beauty, and really learning and trying to understand what the word means and how that's part of my dharma. And this is a word that comes up in the Bhagavad Gita in various different stanzas, and the whole idea about understanding beauty as divinity, and the energy of the divine feminine as being divine, and femininity as being divine, not anything to do with sexism. And it takes some time to process that. And I think that has to do with culture. This one is stability. Gorgeous. This one, I don't love so much. This keyword bugs me. You know, I don't see the Five of Coins just as destitution. There's a lot of potential in the energy of the Five of Pentacles. Here's the Six. This is gorgeous. There's a real, so what I was talking about with the color themes in the Fountain Tarot. So if you are struggling with working with the minors, one of the good things the Fountain has going for it is the consistency of color through the minor arcana. Seven of Pentacles. So that would be interesting if the Universe card and the Seven of Pentacles came up in the same reading. Are any of you reading and working with the Field Tarot? Let me know. Let me know what you think of it. How is it reading for you? I am curious. I was just looking for the Universe card. I don't know where it's gone. What did I do with it? That's weird. They should all be in order, because the Universe card has the 7 chakra colors on it as well too. And it seems to have disappeared. Okay. I might have put it in the wrong, I might have picked it up and put it in the wrong pile. maybe it's in the fountain pile. Quick pause here. See if I can find it. No. All right. Let's go on. All right. So this looks like an animal again. So another thing that I'm going to do is to pull out all the animal cards. So in the Eight of Discs, we have dedication. Definitely get that dedication feel here. I love the Eight of Discs energy. Oh my goodness, I'm going to try to say your name. La Luna es amor. La Luna es amor. The moon is love. Personally, to me, there's vulnerability and nudity, and vulnerability is a sign of strength. I don't see it as sexist. Yeah. It's our relationship with nudity, our relationship with the physical body is an interesting journey to observe. 9. Very similar energy in these two cards. Ooh. So the 10 of Pentacles keyword is establishment. What do you think of that as a 10 of Pentacles keyword? Establishment. And I like this card a lot. I feel that so tell me, like, do you prefer the family card, that family energy? And this one, we don't have the coins and the tree of life shape. And we have, I believe, a same-sex family in this picture. And I wasn't really paying attention to diversity in the field tarot. We have diversity of race. I don't know if we have diversity of gender. Page of Discs. Okay, so why lunar energy with the Page of Discs? Why? Why lunar energy? It's not where I would go with that. Balanced earth, balanced in the earth, green on the earth. The energy of the moon is part of lunar energy. The energy of the moon is part of our connection with the earth, for sure. I'm working on the content, editing the content for my court card class part 2, and just really, really enjoying going through the court cards in all of my decks. Okay. I don't like this at all. Reliability. That does not look like reliability. That looks like really closed off energy. For the Queen of Discs, we have a pregnant woman. And this one I always found so stunning. Oh my goodness. She's really, really stunning. It's a beautiful, beautiful Queen of Pentacles. And then here's the final card, the King of Pentacles. I don't know about that one. And let's have a look at this one. Power. So I'm just going to double check and see if that, oh yes, I left it down here. That's where that chakra card was. So it was the 7 of Discs, the 7 of Discs, and the Universe card. So the 7 of Discs should be right here. Let's just have a look. So here's a question for you, for those of you that read tarot. What are you going to do when you see these two cards together in a reading? Just thinking about that myself. So, as I get to know a deck and get familiar, start to observe repeating patterns and so forth in a deck, I want to think about these things, you know? Oh, Patrice, that's such a good comment. The Page of Pentacles in the Fountain wants me to sing The Sound of Music. I'm just going to get that card. I'm going to look at her again. Where is she? Oh, now I've moved everything. I moved everything because I was looking for something. Where is she? The Page of Pentacles. I feel that way about the Page of Wands as well too. Sorry, I'm not going to pull it out because it's kind of disappeared. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is just share with you. I said I was going to show you this little guidebook for those of you that don't have the field. It's a pretty cover. You know, US Games does a good job with their little guidebooks. It's in one language. It's just really nice. And the like I was saying, it's very, very basic. There is not a lot on each page. So for example, the Princess of Wands, the Page of Wands, it's got the keyword of exploration and then a really short description with a few keywords down at the bottom. Discovery, restlessness, adventure, creativity, naivety, and instinct. So yeah, so there's not much in this little book, but what I might play with is this field spread. So in the field spread, the positions are sunset, horizon, road, and mountain, and sunrise. And I might play with this for Tuesday for the live readings. If you don't have the fountain, there is more content in this one. So this one has a more detailed description. So let's go to the Page of Wands. So for the Page of Wands, because I want to compare apples with apples, dramatic enthusiasm is the keyword. The Page of Wands is filled with childlike enthusiasm, energy, and fresh perspectives. So there is a description. Her immaturity is obvious, but with little time and compassion, she will make some daring discoveries and accomplish some incredible feats. An enthusiastic youth, fresh ideas, new beginning, optimism, naive risk, self-consciousness, an encouraging message, and a short reversal message. So there's a little bit more in the Fountain book. And there is a sample reading in this one as well too. And this one does have an extra card, remember? And then the guidebook that gets the prize for these 3 decks is the Star Seeker Guidebook, because the Star Seeker Guidebook has quite unique descriptions of the cards. It not only describes the artwork, which the other 2 do not, and it also gives you a unique perspective on each of the cards. So for the Page of Wands, it says, the Page of Wands plays outdoors, borrowing a wand from an older sibling. So it's describing the card, which I love. You know, there's a lot of guidebooks out there that don't do that. Did we say borrowing? We meant borrowing without permission. This is a play day, as are most days in the life of this page. Imagination reigns supreme, and a mundane afternoon easily turns into a magical adventure. Everything's exciting, and every moment is full of infinite possibilities. That's just the first paragraph. I love, love, love the way that Nikki wrote this guidebook. It is so well done. Okay, so the last kind of thing I want to do is just show you. So this is a this is the field. And another cool thing about working with these together, look how pretty the backs are together. This is the Fountain. And you can almost see a soft color in the side, though it's not gilded. It doesn't need to be edged. And because you know what? It's kind of a chunky shuffle. I wonder what this cardstock is. Let's try that again. That's better. So that's actually the first shuffle for this. That was the second shuffle for this deck. Okay. So that one is okay. The Fountain is a little bit thicker. And, you know, surprisingly, this gilding is held up quite well in this deck. And it's another one that's very fun to shuffle. You really need to, don't you? You need to like get all your thumbs and fingers around the, yeah. So it is the same, pretty much the same size. The field is a little bit thinner than the Fountain. And then this one, so for those of you that don't like the rose petal finish, I don't know if the current, and this one has kind of a dusty purple edge, which is really, really pretty. But if you have a hard time with the rose petal finish, this is one of those rose petally decks. Oh, I can't bend it. I can bend that one. I don't know. I'm sure I have riffle shuffled this before. I don't know why I'm having a hard time. Yeah. I used this deck a lot when I first got it, and it gave some, I used it in the summer. It feels like a summer deck to me. It feels a little bit like summer nights. And I like that. I like that. So thank you. Thank you for joining me for this deck comparison. And I will be sharing the field and the Fountain, I think, perhaps together on the Field and Fountain. I like that. I like the name of those two together, the Field and the Fountain. I've wanted to bring back the Fountain for a while, and I know a lot of people don't like working with it. It feels cold, or there's something about it that turns people off, but it has strengths, and maybe perhaps its strengths will be brought out in finding a way to read with the field, so we can balance, you know, that masculine and feminine energy. And there's also one of the advantages of the Fountain is it's kind of diverse. It's not just cisgender. It looks to me like the field is cisgender, but I'm going to have another look at it just to see about that as well too. Yeah. Okay, so thank you again, and I will see. I'm going to be. I won't be up back until Tuesday. So Tuesday, I'm going to carry on with my card comparison series. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays, and then 12 p.m. on Tuesdays, I'm doing live readings. And there are always new things coming up in the shop on my channel, new courses. And so if you don't follow me there, integrativehealingwithsadhana.com, and check out my shop. And I love connecting with you on Zoom, because then I get to see your faces and so forth. And it's always a pleasure and a privilege. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and be kind to one another. Namaste.